Marvel Rivals is a bad modern free-to-play game. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you want to make a successful video game, you have two options. The first one is to spend a lot of time and energy developing a game, fleshing out characters, creating stories and missions, trying to fill that bundle of data with so much quality that when it's done and polished, people won't regret spending $70 on a game. The other option is to make your game free to play. If your game is free, people will automatically play it just because it's free. The success here depends on whether you can keep those players hooked. For a long period of time, the majority of successful free-to-play games have tried making the gameplay more fun, tried adding new features to the game as often as possible, tried innovating or taking risks, or simply created such a great community that their players stayed loyal to the game on their own terms. These days, all that matters to publishers or studios is growth. If players don't like a game, but it generates profit, it will get a sequel. If players like it, but it didn't maximize profit, it was a flop, and the entire dev studio just gets burned down. Don't get me wrong, money was always a big reason to create video games in the first place, but usually they were led by and created by people that genuinely enjoyed playing video games themselves. Today the market is flooded and has become so profitable that of course some devs still care, but mostly the business people are in control, because fun for the player is not the desired outcome anymore. Growth is. And this is where most free-to-play games stand today. Most of these games will catch you with an interesting concept, a playstyle that is fun for maybe a few months or a year or two, some simple rewards that seem minimal but are still enough for you to keep playing. After a while though, you will realize that they pull back on the extras. Anything out of the norm, any creative direction, any innovative game mode or addition will slowly disappear. Every reward or in-game item will turn out to be just that, the bare minimum. Every option to grind something through pure gameplay will either disappear or was never there in the first place. All prices slowly rise. Not enough for people to speak up, but just enough to press the last drop of tolerance out of the people that still play your game after all these years. Marvel Rivals, compared to all this, is a very bad modern free-to-play game, because it's actually made for the player, and also doesn't try to snatch every dollar bill hanging out of your pocket. The game has 3 currency systems, all of which can be grinded through pure gameplay. Every skin and in-game item can be purchased through a currency that you receive through mission rewards. And this isn't like the missions in Valorant where you get 3 missions per week, which can all be completed in 3 games, and then you get 2.5 ranks on the half-assed Walmart Battle Pass. No, you have a huge selection of character-specific or unspecific missions, easily refreshable and always designed to generate you more currency. For each character, there's an individual mastery system with actual cool rewards like individual kill banners and HUD customizations. The Battle Pass costs just under $10 and yet still gives you currency back to spend on the next one. Obviously, the devs didn't have to create these heroes out of the blue, since they already exist in every entertainment niche, but then again, Marvel Avengers also had that same head start, and well... In Rivals, the characters are not meant to be realistic. Instead, they embrace every part of their comic book counterpart, which really was what Marvel fans only ever wanted. Good hero design, as some games found out the hard way, are the core of every great hero shooter, and the design team here really didn't pull any punches. Even for fans that aren't familiar with Marvel itself, the heavy stylization and dynamic art style really makes it easy to invest time into the characters, especially when the game goes out of its way to share lore about each character and even giving you a detailed concept on how you can use each character in combat. So, to the gameplay. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that the competitive modes are just copied off of the Overwatch formula. Then again, we had payload, push and domination maps way before Overwatch 2. What always mattered more was the gameplay depth and the character design. This is why Overwatch became so popular. It didn't revolutionize the game modes, it just made them iconic through the variety and individuality of their agent selection. Something Team Fortress managed even further back. Rivals has that same energy. It has an already huge cast of heroes directly off launch, each with their own way of playing the game. and each with their own comic book style ability to completely wipe an entire enemy team if you find that perfect timing. And it's meant to be this way. Nerfing down every hero or agent like in many other games takes away from the actual impact each character has. These are comic book characters. They are supposed to feel OP, and the game doesn't shy away from that, which is exactly why I think so many people enjoy playing it. Once you get the hang of a hero, you feel unstoppable, and yet every hero can be taken down quickly by the right counter. Even seasonal game modes and events have already made it into the game, although it's only been out for 2 months. There was the Winter Celebration and now the Fortune and Colors event. Each event had its own corresponding game mode, and each event granted you access to a special event currency, which in turn granted you free skins and cosmetics for grinding the game. Even the unlocking process was made to feel more engaging. Where most games would have just given you the item, in Fortune and Colors, for example, you painted in a new layer of a canvas for every step you unlocked, in the end giving you an event-specific skin and your filled-out canvas as an illustration. Some people might say that the event game modes are just copied off Splatoon and Rocket League, and to that I say, no one cares. It's just about giving players a fun time. No one can kid themselves into thinking that any game these days completely redefines every game mode that they create. In the end, it's just about making a game engaging, and if there's ever the necessity to come up with new game modes or gameplay loops, the right developers will step up to that challenge. Usually, seasonal modes show to me that the devs are invested in making a more diverse experience and care about the fun aspect of the game too. Because obviously, the modes don't generate the maximum revenue most other companies are striving towards. Events are more about creating a good, well-rounded experience. As a little fun comparison, in these first 2 months, Rivals has already had more seasonal events than Valorant released in 4 years. Mainly, this game is a breath of fresh air in a genre many people already feel familiar with. It's satisfying, engaging, and the variety is big enough to always give you a different gameplay experience. It also doesn't sell out when it comes to microtransactions, which is pretty much the norm nowadays, and will have the fanbases of these games in a rage when pointing out that they are being absolutely scammed. Rivals instead gives everyone the ability to achieve everything through gameplay, although also offering these things up for direct purchases for people that don't want to wait that long, which is also fair. The point is that this game and its additional features are not selectively created for the crowd that spends money, but also for the other half of the fanbase. This, in my opinion, is the direction that free-to-play games should take more often. It's like a sliver of sunshine in an otherwise dark and greedy landscape of games where the player is no longer important. Now tell me what you think about this in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.